I'm Jeff Stewart, licensed marriage and family therapist and the host of this podcast, From Crisis to Connection. I remember one time one of my children courageously brought up the fact that they didn't like how I was praying about another family member. I just in a family prayer, I had said something, indicating in the prayer that this person was off the path or doing something wrong or something like that. There was this kind of, and it was coming from me from a place of concern and care and love, but it was coming from a place of judgment and a place of fear. And my kid picked up on that and asked me about it, and just was, and I knew exactly what they were saying to me. The message was basically, if I make a mistake or I do something that you don't agree with or you don't understand, like, are you going to be praying for me like that?
Yeah. Are you still going to love me?
Right.
Is it so black and white that you love the white, you don't like the black? And then
yeah,
if I'm in that camp, you don't love me anymore.
I was so grateful that was brought to my attention and we could have that conversation so there could be some reassurance, because I would never want any of my children or anyone I love or anyone for that matter to believe that I would think less of them for doing something differently than me. But we have to be so just aware of these ways that we can build mistrust inadvertently.
Yeah. And I love how your child picked up on that.
Yeah.
Because I think we don't realize how much our children are listening and understanding, and we don't give them enough credit for how aware they are, right?
Yeah.
And so then when we don't talk about big stuff, who they're going to talk about with is their friends, right?
That's right.
The worst thing is they're not talking to anyone about it, right? They're just holding it in. Then the next level is, well, I'm talking with my friends. I don't talk with my parents. I guess that's okay. They're talking with someone, but the best case is they're talking with us about those topics. And so we just have to, I love that your child felt safe enough to even come and say that and correct you and say, I'm concerned about that. That shows that open environment of like, I can say something to my parent and they're not going to get mad, and they're going to be open and listen to that.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those moments. It's mixed, right? Like there's a part of me that felt a little defensive, a little caught, right? A little bit on guard, like, wait a second, even my prayers are being scrutinized. I mean, there was a part of me that felt a little defensive, but then there was also this other part of me that was like, wow, like I would never want you to feel that way. I'm so glad you said something. I would hate for you to hold on to that. And so I think as parents, I think it's important to give ourselves a break here and recognize, even if we have a pretty normal human reaction of feeling exposed or embarrassed or a little defensive, we can own that and still at the same time be grateful that we're talking about that, and let our children see, and ourselves really learn how to stay in that kind of tension and messiness, because that's where the connection is.
Yeah. And it's so good for them to see our humanness.
That's right.
And so then they feel safe being human, right? But if they just see that we're a robot and we've got it all together and we don't make mistakes, then how comfortable are they going to be telling us that they're making mistakes? They're not.
Last night, my 16-year-old son was talking to my wife, and he goes, sometimes I miss the innocence of childhood. He goes, but then I think of this Calvin and Hobbes comic that I read recently, where Calvin said, I used to be afraid of growing up to be an adult, but then I realized that adults are just ad-libbing it the whole time.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, son, we are. We're doing our best. We don't have all the answers. We're in this together. We just got a head start with you. And so we're just, and it was great. We had a good laugh about it, but that's really the message, right? Like we want our kids to know that we're learning with them as well. And it's safe to learn this together.
Yeah. That we're human together.
That's right.
And I think parents are afraid. They somehow think that they'll lose respect or authority if they expose that part of them.
Yeah, no, not at all.
And really it's the opposite, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your kids trust you more when you open up to them and you tell them about your insecurities. You tell them about, where you struggle and your mistakes. Now, obviously there's some discretion, there's some based on the age, the emotional level, the maturity of the child, and you use that discretion appropriately. But it's so important to talk about those things and share those things. And so they realize, oh, okay, I can talk about that with mom or dad. They know what this feels like. They know what I'm feeling. They can relate to that.
Thanks for stopping by and watching this little clip of my podcast interview. If you want to catch the full episode with this guest, you can click on the link below. It'll take you to my podcast and you can listen to the whole thing. Once again, I appreciate your support. I've got lots of other episodes you can check out as well, and I'd love to hear what you think about it.